All right. So, welcome to another edition of Sunday Market Outlook. It is October 6th, 2024. Hope you guys are all doing well watching this recording. I got Brent Badal in the building, and we are expecting Luis Rodriguez to be tapping in as well. He's not here at the moment, but we'll see if he jumps on in just a bit. But without further ado, we're going to get this call started and let Brent cover the fundamentals. So, do your thing, bro.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Let's get it because we have some good news this week. We have lots of good news week, just like last week. So as mentioned, last week was crazy. Obviously, we have a ton of news that happened last week, but it really proved a point of something that I say every single week. And I'll say it again for those that are new or just need a little bit of refresh, right? When the news is coming, don't fall for the smoke. Don't fall for what they're saying, what the predictions are. The charts will not lie. The candles will not lie. And that's why we've had successful trades, right? Last week I was going to send the actual NFP trade and I didn't have time to actually type it through. And it was NAS, which NAS isn't on top of the trade yet, but it's almost there. Literally, I was like, sell, and boom, dropped, right? News wise, based off what was said, it should have gone up. But the charts were saying we needed to go down, and it just went down really fast versus taking a long time, right? So, same thing when we speak about the news here, don't fall for what the news is. It's important for you to listen what the news says at that point where reports are, but that is more just for our day-to-day situation because that's a cool thing about what you learn on trading, right? Trading is going to give you a skill set that you'll be able to have for yourself. Nobody could take away from you, and it's going to be income producing right for you. That's when we're speaking about in the charts and trading. Now, outside of that, trading as well gives us knowledge to be able to learn and use to be able to make other financial decisions for ourselves in regards to long-term plays, right? So still listen to what's said, but when we're trading, make sure you're looking at the chart and going for what the chart says. So tomorrow, Monday, we're clear, nothing really to worry about. The only one that I will say, please pay attention to, and that may move the market as always, is consumer credit. I'm one to not look just at the red flags. I like looking at yellow and orange flags because a lot of times what's going to happen there is that it will make a move or it will leave like some clues for news that we could see up ahead, right? Consumer credit is one that always moves a lot. I think it's going to be really high again. And what's weird to me is that consumer credit, which again, it's us as consumer, how much credit card debt we have. So previously it was 25.5 billion dollars, right? They're projecting it to go down to 11.8. I mean, I haven't heard of anybody outside of akashx, of course, right? But really anybody to say, hey, like I was $50,000 in debt and I just paid it off in a day. Like it's not happening right now, right? So I don't see where these numbers are coming. So that's why it has my attention. That's happening at two. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen there. Again, nothing crazy for me to look and want to trade, but just it's curious, like that just doesn't make sense. Common sense isn't common, but that just does not make sense, right? Just logically, how is it that people right now are just slashing at credit card debts by over half? Like, I would understand if it's 25.5 and it's projected to 25, 24. Like, okay, cool, right? Sure, like could be a lot of people in the contracts right now because I know we've grown to like 5,000 plus, right? But then again, it's like it just doesn't make sense to me, right? So that's why I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. That's Monday. We run into Tuesday. Tuesday, same thing. Clear, chill day. This one we need to pay attention to. We don't know really what time it's going to happen, but it's tentative to happen at 7:30. So it could happen at 7:30. Another one that's important to see, not at that moment, but what could happen later on during the week, as well with the economic optimism. We have a couple of FOMC speakers, but nothing really major, nothing big. Another interesting one is going to be this one, the small business index. Again, nothing really to trade, but just important news to look at. Wednesday, now we start getting into some movements. The 10-year bond, as you guys know, I like the 10-year bond, 30-year bond. A lot of these, especially when it comes into NAS, we see some big pulls, some big moves. And it's just important to see that health really overall, like in the long run of this. So again, nothing that I'm rushing to trade, but I definitely want to see what's going to happen with that one because that kind of gives a nice direction of where NAS could head towards. It's not a promise, but it's just a nice indication. It's one of those strong things that NAS look for as far as when it comes to moves is the 10-year and 30-year bond. We have that. We have meeting minutes. So FOMC meeting minutes, for those who don't know what a meeting minute is, they're just going to review what was said. It's not that they're going to say anything new. They're just literally reading over somebody who typed everything that was said, right? I learned that because of my wife and her industry. So I didn't know what meeting minutes was before either, but I learned what that was there, right? So that's really what that is. Another one that's going to be interesting is crude oils. Not that none, I think there's really no educator right now trading crude oils at that point. But again, this is important for our day-to-days, right? So crude oil is expected to go up because everything that's happening with the wars in the Middle East and everything. Obviously, we feel horrible about that. And of course, no innocent lives deserve none of what's happening. But again, when we're in trading, like I've said this before, we do have to get a little bit cold. We don't have to have feelings when we're in the charts. That's why a lot of times they tell you to trade like a robot, no emotions, things of that nature. So when you're in the market trading, you have to sometimes not really accept, but you have to just say, you know what, I have to deal with the harsh realities of the world and I need to focus on trading right now. So with this is because of what's happening right now and because of current economic stuff that we have with other different countries and arrangements and whatnot in this current presidency is the fact that right now we could see the price per barrel of crude oils that we're actually buying from other countries raise exponentially, like times five, times six, times seven. Like it could go up drastically, meaning that the gas that we pump, right, could go up drastically. Shout out fuel factors, so we don't have to worry about much of that, right? But still, again, this is one that I'm not looking really to trade, but it is definitely one that I want to pay attention to for that reason, just because of what's happening. I know right now, I mean, a couple hours ago, I know there was another attack and there was a retaliation of that attack and there was more deaths. And again, it's just horrible, horrible what's happening. But because of that, if we continue seeing these attacks back and forth, most likely we're going to see the cost of barrel go up at that point. And I think that's why we've been seeing since the last one and this one, we're seeing crude oil be orange, which typically is yellow. Um, Thursday, going to Thursday, now we're talking. So Thursday, we're in business. So you guys have 3 days chillness, study, get your trading plans lined up because now Thursday, the day we go ahead and we go crazy. Just make sure you follow your trading plan, put your stop losses, right? But Thursday is the day for me, especially for me, Thursday. So we have core CPI, CPI monthly, CPR yearly, and unemployment claims happening all at the same time. And it's happening at 7:30, which you guys know that I love when news happens at 7:30 because gold likes to move as it is. NAS likes to move at that time. It's an hour before the opening bell. That's when we go live at 8 to trade that opening bell, meaning there's going to be a lot of volume in the market. It's going to be jumpy. I love trading it that way, right? When it gets really spiky, I love trading NAS in the morning. So I'm very excited for Thursday. Thursday, CPI, guys, understand that CPI is one of those news that happens at 7:30, meaning at 7:29, you start seeing the seconds to where it hits that 59 and then it goes to 60 and it changes 7:30, you see a big movement happen. So make sure you're ready for that one. Follow your rules. If you have a free TradexMastery account from akashx, congrats. If you have a free 200K, congrats. If you still have your free 25K, congrats. We've been giving away TradexMastery accounts like there's no tomorrow. Understand that with those, you do not have the news add-on. So this is one of those news that you cannot trade 2 minutes before, 2 minutes after. I just say 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after to be safe. But do not get FOMO, right? Don't worry about it. If you cannot trade 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, there's still going to be aftermath. And that's why I like Thursday, right? Because, for example, in our session, there's going to be a lot of volume in our live session on Thursday because of that. So no FOMO, please, okay? For Thursday, for the rest of the day, really nothing big other than the 30-year bond. So 30-year bond, again, not that I want to trade it. I just want to see what type of impulse, if it's going to give a direction for NAS to kind of tell us, hey, we want to go into a bear rally. We want to go into a bull rally, right? Just to see what that long run pace is going to happen with the 30-year bond. That's happening Thursday. Closing on Friday. Again, Friday's another good day. Anytime you have CPI, you're going to have PPI. So 7:30, same time, we have core PPI monthly, PPI monthly again. So good news. And then we have our opening bell, of course, and then we close out at 9 with consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. Again, another one that's been interesting. It's in the past, prelims have really not done nothing because it's just preliminary. It's not really that it's there. But we've been seeing when it comes into consumer sentiment and inflation expectations, we've been actually seeing that want to make a move. And it's interesting that it's on a Friday. Correction Fridays is what I call it. So it's interesting that they're putting it at that time there. I'll be paying attention to that for sure. And I would recommend you do the same. But that's it for me for news on that side. Again, just guys, it's You have to make sure that when you're trading, you're in a healthy state of mind, right? That's the biggest thing when you're trading is in a healthy state of mind. And again, it's one of those things too where I don't like watching the news, but a lot of times I'll have it in the background, especially right now with these times, just to get that breaking news. Such and such did such and such. Because those are just things that we know, like, okay, the market's going to move. Literally, I was on the phone last week. I think, yeah, it was last week. I was literally on the phone, just having a conversation, right? And I'm trading. And I know I personally have my accounts that I say, hey, you know what? No stop loss gang. We're gonna have fun with these accounts, right? And it's just something that you will be able to get to do as well. Once you have your three and frees and you have a handful of people where you're getting your residual income coming through. So you'll have to be like, hey, you know what? Do I go buy $100 scratch off or do I go buy a 10K account, right? So I was in that account, just going having fun. And next thing you know, I'm on the phone and I click sell because I really thought I was going to sell. And I look over and I'm 700 pips in profit in the matter of 2 seconds. And I'm like, and the next thing you know, it goes back up and goes back down. I'm on the phone. I'm like, hey, yo, like something's happening right now. Like literally something's happening. And we go right away to our news outlets and just looking. And that's when it said, hey, such and such just bombed such and such. And they said it's because of this and it's official. It's war. So and that was just a random time. It's not expected. It wasn't necessarily like, it was literally like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, why is NAS moving the way that it's moving at this time of the day, right? So understand that that could still happen this week. That doesn't mean you're going to be trading fearfully. That doesn't mean you're not going to trade. You were just going to follow your plan. If I would have followed my plan, if it was one of my serious accounts and I would have had a stop loss in TP and it would have gone the wrong way, I would have been like, yo, what happened? I hit stop loss in 2 seconds in the afternoon. Like, this is weird, but that's it, right? I still would have gone in. I still would have traded. Nothing would have happened. So don't pull back, don't steer away, don't have any scarcity mindset right now in the market because of what's happening. But just understand that if you do see a random candle on the random time during the day, most likely it's because something's still going on. And the only way to prepare yourself is having a stop loss and following your trading plan. Your trading plan says, hey, I could risk so much a day. And if you lose that amount of the day and it's at that time of the day, well, guess what? You're done. That's it. You come back tomorrow. That's all that it is. No worries. And if that news, like for me, it spiked you into where you actually wanted to go, well, guess what? You're done now. Like instead of taking 2, 3 hours, you're done in the matter of minutes. And that is what it is. So just make sure, guys, you are please following your trading plans. But that's it for me. Back to you, Rich.
Awesome, awesome. Appreciate you, bro, for kicking us off. And we do have our other educator in the building here, so let me add him. Luis, look at that room, bro. I like it. How are you?
Oh, familia, how are you?
Good, man. I'm glad that you were able to tap in with us. Everybody definitely, I think, well, I don't think, I know they loved last week's edition with you on, man. So we're grateful to have you a part of this.
Awesome.
Um, I mean, I don't know if y'all remember what Lewis said was gonna happen to Nas, and it happened like maybe a couple hours later that same Sunday night, Monday morning. But I'm just saying it pays to get on these sessions, you know? Like Lewis
Yeah.
let y'all know on Sunday night what Nas was gonna do on Monday. So I mean, it is what it is. I think that day John Leal had called it as well. So like the signals were out there, whether it was from Lewis on this call or John calling it on the trailers, like we had it really, well scoped out on Sunday. So excited to do it again. But yeah, man, we're gonna dive into some charts. We're gonna usually go over gold first and then NAS, and I know Lewis may want to go over a couple other things as well. So we'll start off with gold. I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and then I'll pass it to Lewis and Brent, and then we'll keep it moving from there. So let's get it. All right. I was shooting some YouTube stuff earlier, had all this stuff marked up. Hold on. All right. So let's look at gold here. All right. So from a 4 hour perspective, funny enough, from last Sunday to now, last Sunday, we were basically move this down here. My goodness, I can't even see. I need to make this smaller. Hold on. All right, here we go. So Sunday, we were around this price point right around here. And now, I mean, we're a little bit higher, but in general, we pretty much consolidated Like if you're looking at things from a higher time frame perspective, we didn't really travel much the whole week. Obviously there was definitely trades that were being sent out and trades to be taken, but it was really just basically spiking the highs and the lows. But we've really remained in this general range from about 2670 to 2640 roughly. Now this one area that I had marked since last Sunday we were talking about, guys, is this last demand zone before we started making a move up. We saw that when we tapped into that on Monday, we ended up rejecting off of that. And since then, again, we've basically been going sideways. So in general, I would say, I mean, honestly, that whenever we're consolidating, I don't got much to say. But the same MO we talked about last Sunday still kind of comes into play. These last 4 days closed bearish technically. Again, we had a lot of wicking to the down and to the upside, but we have still some indication that we have some bearish pressure for now. The one area that I do see as a potential for price to want to gravitate towards first would be this imbalance area right here. Basically, this is the last time that we actually got a strong push on gold. This last imbalance, we had that fill Sunday, Monday, and throughout the week, but this area still has not been filled. So if we are going to go bearish, I would expect us to come into that 2610, 2600 area. And then from there, really just kind of analyze if we end up rejecting and continuing higher, or if we just end up giving a small reaction and then a continuous breakdown until we get down to 2530. That's the same area I had marked up last Sunday as well as like one of the key levels, right? This is the last time that the market had really respected a specific price point a lot. Since then, we've just kind of been pushing. And last week, we finally ran out of gas a little bit with the momentum on gold. So essentially, honestly, whenever we're consolidating like this, if I'm looking at it from an intraday perspective, like a 4-hour, 1-hour chart, etc., is very simply put, I would be looking at all of these lows and some type of rejection of those lows to buy us back up into this range where we had, some people will call it resistance, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be ranging between this high and this low. So the only way I'll truly know like a trending direction is when we really start breaking out of either this area or this area. If we start to break and close below that, then that's where, again, we would look at the higher time frame stuff to potentially take this lower. And same thing, vice versa. Obviously, we've been talking about gold, being on a bull run for quite some time, but this is the first time in a while that we have seen it kind of run out of gas. So it's going to be interesting. I would definitely love to get Lewis and Brent's perspective on it. Again, on the smaller time frames, you guys are going to be able to, ping pong the highs and lows and really catch, your 30 pips, 60 pips at a time. But as far as like getting a true direction for the long term, it's kind of just a sideways market right now for the time being until we get some news kicked in there. So don't really have a lot to say about gold right now. I'm not sure if Brent or Lewis, you guys want to share your chart first.
I can share super quick just because I played off last week what I said too, so I won't take much time so we can run through NAS too. But last week I called the daily because I didn't really like nothing on the short time, which was weird for me, right? But I was able to call the daily the fifth wave, which the fifth wave did complete. I said, hey, if we have the next two down, we confirm, which we did. Unfortunately, in the market and the charts, you guys know the transparency. I called, I think, 3 gold trades out last week and like only one played. And it was a fact of like stop loss and then it would tank right away. So it overall went in the correct direction, going downward. The bears came in, but they just weren't strong enough because of everything else that's happening. You got to keep in mind the charts were saying we're going down. And we don't fall for the smoke of the news, but this shows the weight of what news is happening. It's not just your normal news of, hey, like we expected this to happen project and it didn't happen. Boo-hoo. Instead of making 1 billion, we just made 1.596 whatever million, right? It wasn't really that. It's something more of like we had war situations. We had like allegations were like full threat on war and bombings and this and that. So like all of that obviously pushed a lot stronger when it came to gold. And we saw that big candle retrace come back here and give that big retrace. Overall, if we continue underneath the highest peak, right? Which was here, this 84 basically. If we remain underneath there, the fifth wave is still respected. Where Rich is saying, I like it, right? It should probably reach at least to somewhere around that 25 maybe area, 23, probably bounce off. And if it wants to continue, it'll continue way up, unless we actually start getting a curve down. And if we start getting a curve down and we start seeing all the bears come in, then we'll see an actual fifth wave fulfill itself, which meaning it should come back and touch that fourth. Which coming back and touching that fourth wave, then we come all the way down to really where gold, I think, should be at least at this 23.33 kind of area. Gold likes those numbers. As Luis knows, my favorite number for gold was 2777. Gold Luis did not like gold when it was down there. I loved it when it was down there. And I think I was looking at this, Luis. I don't know if you take a, if you ever, I know you've been out and about right now, but if you go back to the good old days when gold was there, it started forming off kind of the same pattern that we're doing now. So if we get this push down, I think 2333 could be kind of that new 2777 type of things, that 1977. It's starting to give that kind of vibe. So overall, obviously, caution with gold. I don't really have much in the shorter time frame, just like Rich said. When we're in it, when we're at the moment, we'll see what it wants. And if a pattern is telling me, hey, sell 30, buy 30, it is what it is, right? We're going to go for it. Overall, if we stay underneath 85, we should continue going down. That's pretty much the biggest thing for me that I'm looking at. But with everything else happening, it's like, it's really hard that it's the charts fighting by themselves to say, hey, let me do what I'm supposed to do against the entire world and everybody doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, which is pushing gold up. So it's a definitely it's a struggle battle right now for me, but that's what I got on gold. Reese, you got anything?
Yeah, what's going on, familia? What's going on? All
Hold on, let me
right.
make you co-host. Hold on.
Yeah, let me share my screen here.
There we go.
All right. Where can I do this? Share. Bim, bada boom, bada bing. Here we go. Are you guys able to see my screen? Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to talk about several things. I agree with absolutely everything that Rich and Brent we're talking about here because it's exactly what has been happening for the past almost like 2 3 weeks with the market. But looking at the bigger picture as a swing trader, we understand exactly what's happening with the market. And as you guys know, I use Elliott waves as my roadmap where things should be heading. And looking at NAS, first, starting with NAS, looking at NAS right now. As I said last week, NAS is working on a complex correction on the market. What I see right now, I'm debating on, right now it seems that it's something called a zigzag, which is simple, okay? We consist in three Elliott waves. Elliott wave number one, which is from here to here, now is working on Elliott wave number two, going in the up direction. Exactly in the Elliott wave number three on that correction. Which I can say that eventually it will end up at least at 130% of the Elliott wave number one. So my projection for this, if you are doing a scalping, is that NAS is going to continue moving up to this level at least 2124. It's right now she's doing a temporary pullback to continue the uptrend, right? But once you reach that level, you guys have to look at what's the next move. And I'm predicting that this price is going to continue dropping. That's part of the zigzag. Now, once it reaches level down here, all right, that's what I'm going to now pay close attention because it could become something what is called a flat correction. And that is even more complex. All right. So for those who are doing a scalping, all right, yes, you can go up with the trend. Everything is showing that the market is going up, and I completely agree. It can go all the way up to 130% minimum and all the way up to 261%, which is crazy right now. But it can happen in that correction. Okay. Just pay close attention to the next movement of NAS. And with what Brent said, all these events that are happening globally with these wars, things can break any of these rules in any moment. So that's why it's so important to have your stop losses ready and understanding your risk management very well. As you guys know, we are doing a challenge that we are doing a $1,000 to $1 million. We started 2 weeks ago. We are already almost, well, right now I'm breaking the $6,000 on that account. We are projecting to finish it strong next week, well, at least $8,000. Okay. And all I'm doing is literally just following the plan that I'm telling you here. Even when we lose, because last week we had 3 big losses in our sessions. Even doing that, we still win during the week, and that's what really matters. As I promised to you guys, I'll be talking about how to do proper risk management to always win, even when you lose. These are topics that I'm going to be talking later on. But hold on, give me a second. Wow, so looking at my other screen here, looking at these transactions that as I said, the market is going to keep moving up at least to 161% of the earlier way. All right. That is for gold. And remember, guys, we are doing a complex correction on gold. Sorry, on NAS. NAS can go all over the place right now. Just be careful how you trade this week, especially with the CPI, right? And that's the other part that I wanted to share with you guys. That is very important to understand that the market is not always doing wake up. We as traders believe that the market is going to bounce in one area and go into the next. That's not always the case. We need to pay close attention to the events that are happening during the week, because there's something called the sentiment of the market that investors are paying close attention to it, especially in CPI weeks. All right. So when there's CPI's event, I'm expecting the market to consolidate a lot before these big movements. And that's exactly what the market has been doing and will continue to do for this week, especially if you're doing like long transactions. Just give me 1 second here, family. I need to quickly look into my other station here. And all right. Perfect. Yeah, as I said, I am doing this challenge. So I got to pay close attention to what the market is doing and take notes. I have another station here where I have my broker and all the accounts that I'm dealing with. And yeah, as I said, we are closing this with $6,000 as of right now. And my projection for next week is at least make another $2,000 from that account. Anyway, so that is for NAS. And quickly, just looking at gold, that is the other instrument that we're going. Guys, and this is the best part of gold. And I've been doing gold for the longest time. As a matter of fact, gold is the one who gave me all the money that I have as of today. Okay. I am a gold digger. And I keep telling everyone, we are the one who make trading complicated. Trading is easy. Trading is super easy. All we need to do is just follow the plan. That's it. Right? Gold, I call it the mother of consolidation. And I keep talking about it all the time. If a market is consolidating, right, all you need to do is establish your areas where the price is bouncing on and off. Understand where is your equilibrium. Do not trade nothing within that equilibrium area and trade just the limits. Buy and sell until you break the areas. That's it. All you need to do is wait for one loss and potentially 8-7 wins. And that's how you're going to continue to win in a market like what gold is doing right now. Right? I understand, yeah, there's a lot of big movement, a lot of news events, a lot of things happening around. But gold is telling you exactly what it's doing. It's consolidating. So let's trade a consolidating market with the right tools. Do not make it complicated. Gold is telling us what it's doing. Just let's keep following what gold is telling us to do until it breaks the area. Exactly what Rich said. Exactly what Rich said. It's consolidating. You guys know the areas here. Let's make some money. All right. So that is my inputs for gold. I highlight the areas here for the longest time. Guys, you guys see it on my screen. I never changed this for the past maybe like 2 weeks. And it's been in the same areas over and over, over and over. You can see it here. So I can tell you, buy here, sell here, buy here, sell. That's all you need to do. All right, it's super easy. And the same thing with almost every instrument out in the market. Last week on Thursday, as you guys know, I am not doing London anymore. I did it for an entire month. Now we're gonna be doing back into New York. I kind of missed doing the New York market, so we're gonna get back into it next like tomorrow. Um, and I'm expecting to deal with a lot of volume that I wasn't seeing in London. But after that, as I promised to you guys, I might consider doing the Asian market. For those who work your 9 to 5 jobs and are having a lot of excuses and oh, I can't trade because I got to work and all that so on. I am going to dedicate some time to show you what I was doing when I started doing trading. That I was working 12 hours, 10 hours a day, and I still had time to trade. Where it is in the Asian market, in markets that a lot of people believe there's not a lot of volume, and all you need to do is find an instrument that provide volume. Gold is one of them. Why? Because there's a correlation between the Japanese yen and gold. You need to pay close attention to this index here, JXY. That is the index for the Japanese yen. You pay close attention to this, you will see what gold is doing. You will understand the behavior of gold. All right. All right, so I'm going to keep it short and simple for this week. As I said, I gave you the numbers for NAS. Just pay close attention to it. It's going to keep moving up. It's going to keep moving up. And then it's going to crash again hard. It's doing a zigzag correction. Zigzag. Elliott wave number 1 going down. Elliott wave number 3 going up. Elliott wave number 3 going down hard. After that, if it doesn't stop there, it might do a flat correction. Those are the two alternatives for NAS. And that's gonna be this entire week. Okay. Again, I'm not taking an analysis on this on like a scalping. This is all for long shots. Beginning of the week today, Sunday, potentially until Friday. That's gonna be the correction, especially when you have CPI on Thursday. That a lot of these investors are waiting for that particular day. And that is called the sentiment of the market. Just wait for that moment and let's make a lot of money. All right. All right, Rich. That's it for me. I leave it with you guys.
Awesome, man. Well, it's always good when we see the same things, right, guys? I mean, the educator confluence is very strong. So good to see. And really, guys, this is why we say, well, you know, we've said it and maybe you've seen it through other educators or Instagram posts, but trading is so much about the waiting game sometimes, you know, like the actual action of entering the market is such a small fraction, but waiting for the conditions to line up to what we are comfortable with, what we know, and what we plan for is the biggest thing, guys. So let's look at NAS real quick here. All right, here we go. Okay, so last week, Monday, obviously, is where we kind of kicked off with the big drop. Since then, we basically consolidated, had some liquidity grabs, and turned around. My best trade last week for sure was the buys coming above this Asia low. Once we kind of like grabbed and started turning around, we had gotten entries here, targeting 4-to-1s that ended up hitting during this NFP candle right here. So that was like the one really good you know, buy that I had for the week. And really that's what I personally aim to do, guys, is to really have just at least one really solid trade a week, with other ones making, you know, here and there. Anything more than that is extra credit for me. But if I can do, and I say this for you guys that you know, you're focused on prop firms funding, things like that. You know, sometimes we work so hard taking so many trades, and my God, between like just the three of us on here, plus like Joel, you guys every week on MetaTrader probably have like 50 positions. And I'm not knocking that, right? You do what works for you, right? But for me, man, like if I can find 3-4 setups a week, sorry, like I'm cool with that personally. I look to trade NAS every single New York session, playing off of supply and demand and what happens around Asia. And that's just how I've been doing things for the last year plus. And it's been great. Now, where we stand currently in price, the way I see things is the last real like point of supply, or where we had the market make one big rally before we had the massive drop, was this area that we're basically in right now. So if we mark off, for example, this low to this high, this is a zone that I pay attention to right here. And this zone was important, as we saw during NFP, where we ended up getting a very strong reaction, as you guys can see, on Friday, where we basically tapped in to that area and had that immediate rejection to the downside. And from there, we've basically had a full recovery back up into that zone. Now, personally, this is just like from looking at NAS and really only focusing on this one pair mostly, is that if we've already rejected off this point very aggressively and we've basically come and closed price action right back into that zone, it gives me an indication that if that zone was really going to hold for the long term, we would have gotten maybe some type of retracement with a continuation to the downside, and we just haven't gotten that. In fact, we've just pushed right back into that zone. So usually from experience, that tells me that we'll probably end up grabbing this high. Now, again, for me, something that's very important is letting the Asian range actually unfold. So, you know, that will basically happen from now until about 1 in the morning. So tomorrow during New York session, I will assess, you know, how Asian range ends up, you know, developing. Now, some other things I will say is just from understanding liquidity, we have all of these highs. Whoa. Let me move this out of here. We have all of these relative highs at this point right here, where if the market is going to indeed, you know, disrespect this high and just continue to push above, we're going to end up gunning for basically, you know, all of these highs right here, which will push price into about that 20,200 area. All right. Now, something else that I can expect NAS to gravitate towards if it really wants to continue pushing is this area of imbalance right here. This is that initial big drop that we had here. And we never saw buyers really enter the market again since this point. So you see that big void right here of just sellers. Eventually, we're going to have to fill that with buyers. So again, everything is going to determine my bias tomorrow, depending on how we, you know, play out during London and how we start respecting the Asian high and low, which this is where we're at right now. There's still hours left, so this can change. But essentially, again, just the way it's looking right now, my ideal scenario would actually be if tomorrow during New York, we end up getting some type of impulse lower with a very strong correction back above the Asia low shifting structure. And then I'd be targeting these highs and maybe this area of imbalance here. That would be my play for tomorrow, just to continue what has been like basically a massive correction. My other scenario, if we are going to basically sell, would be if we basically close Asia here and we end up having like a very strong spike above these highs with a very strong rejection to the downside, then I'd probably shift my bias. But as of right now, and I haven't really looked at the charts at all this weekend, like I'm just like I haven't been on the charts at all. So I'm looking at it for the first time with you guys right now. For a daily perspective, we closed bullish Friday. And yeah, I can see us maybe coming a little bit lower before coming higher. If I look at it from a daily perspective. Yeah, okay. So from a weekly perspective, we saw that, you know, we tried making that move to the downside. We filled some weekly imbalance, ended up rejecting and closing bullish for the week. And now for the start of the week today, these last couple hours, we just basically picked up on the momentum from the end of Friday. However, from basically the open of the week to the low of the week, this is that, you know, point where price can basically come somewhere into this area before rejecting and coming higher if it wants to do that. But, you know, from a weekly perspective, I mean, there's not a lot of information that I would say I care about right now. 4 hour time frame. Yeah, honestly, guys, like this 4 hour candle really is the story that I'm following more than anything. We had a very strong bullish close here coming into this point of supply. And you can see that once we had that very strong bullish candle, we had a very strong correction, but we did not break that candle. All we did was really test the lows and ended up closing bullish again. So I think this candle really set the precedence for us to basically have the momentum to carry us to break this high and start tapping into this area. So I would say I'm mostly bullish for sure on NAS. You know, at least until we get to these extreme points right here. And once we, you know, achieve all the objectives of taking out this liquidity and then filling in some of this imbalance, if we get some type of really strong bearish pressure from there, something like this, then I'd be interested in selling that and maybe coming to here. But again, this is all just speculation and just looking at things, you know, on a Sunday night, just mentally preparing myself for different scenarios. But all that really matters is where are we right now? And that is here. And so I think the better play is to look for buys, at least until we clear these highs. So that's really what I got for NAS. Brent, I don't know if you want to chip in for some NAS stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna share screen. I'll just say quickly that I don't want to. We all call into existence what it is, right? So sadly, the only thing that NAS is showing me right now is 2,800. You know that I don't like buys, I like sales. So I am gladly speaking to the universe that as it continues to go up and it goes into that channel, it touches the top of that channel right at the moment when I call a sell, and we grab a beautiful 1,500, 2,000 pip sell at the top of the channel as it continues rising. But yes, everything right now paints the picture that we should see this go up, which again, as you guys know, if you know me by now, you know that I do not like I do not like buys. I like my bears more. So that's it for me on NAS.
Cool. All right. So we went over some gold. We went over some NAS here. Hold on. Still got this on here. All right, here we go. All right, cool. So yeah, we've basically analyzed the two major pairs that we always do on the weekly. I know Lewis went in depth as well. I don't know if any of you guys want to cover any other instruments that you're looking at. I know we've touched on like cryptos and stuff here and there, Brent. I think last week we ended up having like 4 retracements of the original positions that were, I think, up like 12% or something like that for you.
Yeah,
Um,
we went
yeah.
up. I think it was almost 20% as far as what we went up.
Mhm.
It was yeah, 19.80% is what we went up. Then we had a full retracement. We had a drawdown of 4%, and now it's if you're still holding it, you're up 4.7%. So I think this is still going to continue going upwards regardless of it. We have lots and lots of room still for this to go up because of how high it's already been. There's more areas right now of interest upward than downward on this one. So I'm obviously, like I said, this is long. I've been buying ADA for 3 years now. So I'm not closing it or anything like that. It's more of a dollar cost average that I got it at a really good deal again. That's how I see it. Unfortunately, I didn't see it when I dropped. If not, I would have bought more. But it's all good. If it gives another pullback, I'll buy again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something very interesting to keep our eyes on, guys, is with Bitcoin. I know I've been telling you guys, you know, once we take all-time highs, and this happened back in like I think what was it, 2021. I remember in 2021, I was like still living in Miami, and I was around my parents a lot more. And I had gotten my parents into cryptos a lot more aggressively during that era. That's like when NFTs were like a thing and all that, right? And when we took out the all-time highs, I was like, guys, it's time to get out. And at that time, people were like, dude, that's crazy. Like, why would we get out now? But, you know, that led to this massive like downward spiral where Bitcoin went from like the mid 60s all the way down to like 20, a little bit less, right? I'm bringing that up now because as we took all-time highs again, we saw the same type of behavior where price basically had started channeling down. And something that I've been really paying attention to on the higher time frames, like the weekly, monthly. I'm not a day trader of Bitcoin or any type of cryptos. Like that's just not an area that I have cared to explore whatsoever. However, we have seen that, we have been maintaining these low, like pushing lower on Bitcoin for a while, but this last high on the weekly did technically shift. Now it's not a significant push above, so I'm not, implying that we're ready to blast off or anything, but this is an early sign from a weekly, like swingers perspective that, Bitcoin, it's making strides that it may start wanting to actually break, this type of channel and start pushing upwards. Me personally, I do not desire that. So like I'm doing everything in my power to like mentally push Bitcoin down if that's possible. But as far as Bitcoin goes, like look at that last monthly candle. Like this last monthly candle, we've seen it wicking and rejecting the downside, and now we just closed bullish last month. And we already see like a week in that we are continuing that momentum. So this month is gonna be this month, we're gonna know what Bitcoin's gonna do for like probably the rest of the next quarter plus. And I say that because again, if we end up closing really strong bullish on Bitcoin again, like let's say we end up closing like at 68 or something like that for the month, it's probably going to be all-time high season, honestly, guys. If we end up, respecting like this last monthly, which I just don't see that happening, but if we can respect this high and actually start closing lower, then I think we're on our way back into this area of imbalance. I truly think at some point we will end up having a very strong correction on crypto back into like 35. That sounds crazy, but I said the same thing when it was at 60 something when we had this imbalance over here and we ended up coming to like 20. So I've seen it, I've done it before, and it's happened before. So I have no doubts that it's very possible that we get back into the 30s. And I said this on my sessions, but I don't think I've ever said it on a market outlook, or it's probably been a while. But I would definitely load up on Bitcoin heavy when we get into 40, 30. But I mean, right now it's interesting because right now that theory is put on standby because this last monthly closure being so bullish, it may even come to all-time highs. Now, once it hits there, will we then get the rejection down? Who knows? I still think there's going to be a very strong winter for crypto eventually, but right now it's not looking like it's that time. So consider loading up on some at least small cap coins, because like the one that Brent shared, because like when Bitcoin starts to push, you already know it still has the effect on the whole crypto market to basically just, like this one tide raises all ships type of thing. That's what's happening still with crypto and Bitcoin. So gonna be interesting to see that. But I think that's really it, guys, for what we
I
usually
do have one little play to close out, just to close out, because we got to give them a crypto play, bro. We got to give them one, at least one. Everybody here in the chat has to leave at least with something, right? A little something, something. So what I have here, I could share my screen really quick and we'll close out. This will take me 2 minutes and we'll finish the call right on time. So we gotta give.
You're gonna
We
share?
gotta, I feel like I'm in the giving mood. Yes, I'm in the giving mood
All right, I'm
today.
gonna stop sharing.
So what we have here is
Real quick, bro.
XLM.
Real quick, just because like this is like a side question before we get into it. So there was a question about like the trading view NAS broker that like matches trade locker as closely as possible. Personally, I use FXCM, but I use FXCM because the Asian range stuff actually is listed correctly for whatever reason. Sometimes when I use the other brokers, it like messes up what it considers Asian range and all that stuff. I think technically it's off by like 20 points on FXCM. It's like off like 20 points. So what I tell people all the time, well, first of all, I'm sending out all our alerts based off trade locker price points. So that way there's like no way that people are gonna like have that confusion, especially since most people are on TradeX or whatever. So I don't know if you guys do that too as educators.
Yeah,
I've been just going off trade locker prices anyways. But if
yeah.
since the question was asked, I think with FXCM, well, I don't really look at the price point so much. I look more at like the market structure lining up, because sometimes like different NAS or different brokers for different assets, the market structure looks slightly different, and I don't like that because that throws me off. But if the chart image very closely mirrors what I see on the actual broker that I'm executing the position on, that matters more to me than the price lining up exactly. It's just that's what I would say. But I just wanted
Yeah.
to touch that real quick.
No,
100%.
Sam, yeah. For me, Vantage, I use Vantage on NAS on TradingView because it's very close to TradeX on TradeLocker, but it's still not 100% there. And same thing, what I'll do is like on my TradeX, I'll be like, oh, perfect. I want to sell here. And I'll look, okay, one, two, three candles behind the top of that wick. That's where it is. And then I'll go to TradeX on TradeLocker and be like, one, two, three candle. Okay, now that's that number. And I'll send it based off that number because I know the majority are on the TradeX side of things with TradeLocker. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, we always put in the notes. So just read on the notes, for example, if he were to say in the notes, based off trading view this, then you guys need to go to that trading view, look at it, and you guys need to do the math at that point. But yeah, at least the majority of us are there. But cool. All right. So XLM, Stellar XLM. This is one that I've looked at for a minute. I've been looking at this one for a long time. Stellar XLM, their biggest thing is that they want to make sure that they can make crypto move fast. They can move it to places to where there is no like banking institutions, things of that nature, to a lot of nations, like a lot of places in Africa that their exchange of their own dollar is pretty much non-existent at this point just because of how much it's devaluated, inflation, things like that. Like I've spoken that before. A lot of countries in Latin America are the same way, right? So where you literally, how much is a bottle of pop? Oh, it's 1 million of whatever theirs is, and they don't have 1 million in bills to pay a whole briefcase for a can of pop, right? So XLM is really looking for that to have the interconnectivity between the banks and a lot of countries that really don't have their own, right? And to make it move fast and cost effective. So I like project. Like I said, for me, when it comes to crypto, I look for projects long term. This is one that I've been holding for a while. So right now it's been trapped. We could see, obviously, since I zoom in a little bit here, it's been trapped in this range, right? Right now, boom, 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 boom. But it broke, finally broke. It gave us that broke and that shift of character. It came down for that liquidity, it came down to grab it, respected our demand, went right up, but it hit one more time our supply zone. But I still think based off how it broke, dropped, and then went up, we should see an uptrend on this one. If we see a downtrend and it goes down, well, our stop loss really is nothing compared to what our TP is because it should come back for all of this plus some. If we zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out. What happened? We had that drop, drop. We had a breakout, come back down. Then what happened? Boom, we're off. So it's the same situation that it's wanting to repeat here. So I'm expecting how we saw right here, a big candle up, move, and then continue upwards. That's what I'm expecting here for XLM to do that same pattern. Give us one nice big candle to push us out, give us a nice little bull rally to push us out, and we continue going. And of course, we'll retrace back and forth, back and forth. But this is another one, ADA, XLM, Chainlink. Those are like my top three, and a little bit of Cosmos. But those are really my top three altcoins that really like to move along with Bitcoin too. So like what Rich was saying, right? If we see that big upward movement with Bitcoin, 9 out of 10 of these are going to go up as well because they all depend on that Bitcoin side of things too, being that the majority of people will use Bitcoin for transactions and things of that nature. So the more that we see Bitcoin grow, the more we'll see the actual civilization community use Bitcoin. And then because of that, we'll start looking for alternatives. Imagine right now, like you go ahead and you pump gas in your car, right? How many gas stations are there? Like you went to one and it's like, okay, I need gas. Here's a gas station. But wait a second, there's 10 more that give me gas and they charge me less and they pump gas faster. Well, I'm going to go and use that one instead. So a lot of these, I look at it in that concept too. A lot of these will be used in that same similar way. And that's why I like these the most. So we'll see if that plays out. Obviously, measurement wise, it would be a really nice growth of percentage wise that we could go ahead. I mean, that would be around 30, almost 31% that we would be able to grow on our nice little XLM. And it would be a really good position. If you haven't bought it yet, it would be a really good position for you to get into it as well. Yes, it could go lower, of course. We know that based off where it's been in the past, but still, like it's one of those things to where if you missed it, you're still in a pretty decent position. Like this is obviously when it started, where it's at, how far it's been at one point.
Mhm.
So it's like if you missed it right here back in 1819, you missed the big move in 1819. Well, guess what? It's kind of coming back for you just in case you want to grab it. And if it hits, well, it hits. We're not that far anyway. So I'll leave you guys with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at it right now too, and I like the potential for it to get to even like 50 cents, which would be like a 5x. So I mean, guys, if you really just pay attention, like those crypto plays, they don't do anything for a long time, and then when they go very fast. So it's like it's a different style of investing, trading, whatever you want to call it. And we've talked about diversifying before. And at the end of the day, man, like I see, I just wanted to get this off my chest because I see this sometimes in the chats. And I feel like Sunday market outlooks are the one like calls where like people that are here trying to really, really learn. And I just have to be like honest with people. Like, dude, trading is not a game for you to like go from the dirt up. Like just being honest, like sometimes people think that they're gonna just be super like lost and oblivious, and just because they have a akashx and a prop firm that they're just gonna become rich because they're gonna trade TTTs. Like, yo, I'm telling you right now, find ways to like squeeze the prop firms, squeeze your accounts, whatever you got to do. But the real game of why you see people so quote unquote successful on, platforms, TV, this, that, and the third is because they have built their businesses, they have made multiple streams of income, and they've learned to day trade and like grow those profits quickly, but diversify into things. You ask any of these educators, anybody in these positions have been doing this for a long time, like be smart with your profits. Like, oh, what do I do with these prop firm payouts? Da, da, da. Like, yeah, you can increase your lifestyle and all those things are great, and we've done it, but at the end of the day, where the gap gets really created of the wealth is when you're catching these stock plays, crypto plays, real estate, all this other stuff with the money that you're making. And so some people on here don't even know how to open up a crypto wallet. Some people don't know how to do any of that stuff. You're in the platform. Armin, Todd Humphreys, because I've seen people ask, like, these guys have the entire like live sessions, everything built for you guys. And after October, when we start revamping akashx and everything, we're just gonna get new videos, new onboardings, a lot of that stuff. So just like, pay attention these next 90 days and don't sleep on crypto, because the thing is, everybody does the same thing every bull run, where they don't care about it when everything's quiet, and then when everything's on fire, then they want to start. That is literally like the mass thinking that you have to like cut right now. Like you have to wake up right now. Like right now, nobody cares about crypto. So you should absolutely care about crypto. You see what I'm saying? Like if you care about crypto and everybody cares about it, you're late to the party. All right. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're not. I mean, Lewis is quiet. Maybe Lewis is a crypto genius too. So I'm not gonna say for him, but like I'll say, me and Brent are not the quote unquote crypto experts that like, oh, we've dedicated our brand here in akashx to be crypto. We don't do that. Like we literally day trade indices, gold, whatever. Armin, Todd Humphreys, just them two alone. I mean, if y'all were in Canada or you've seen some of the footage, like the portfolios that he's helped his team grow, I'm talking about Armin. It's just ridiculous. And like it was hard numbers in your face, like proof. So the value is right there. Like right now, you go to akashx and you can literally go on our min sessions right now, and they're giving small cap coins and all that stuff. But it's not just about the plays; it's about educating yourself what to do. Do you have a ledger, like a nano ledger? Do you know what a cold wallet is, right? Do you do you have a Coinbase account at least, right? Like just set yourself up and learn how to put yourself in that position before the scramble happens. All right. So just want to say that real quick because, again, we don't really make the time to have these conversations outside of these Sundays. But it's important, guys. It's important. All right, cool. You guys want to cover anything else? I think that's it, right? About an hour plus already.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. The mindset call.
Yeah,
That's all important.
there's a lot going on for the week. As I said, just pay close attention to the market and trade with a lot of caution, because there's going to be a lot of consolidation. And then on Thursday, when you get this CPI, I'm on a beg you. I keep telling everyone, please do not trade news. I know there's a lot of traders that love to trade news. Just don't trade.
Brent's like, I'm not listening to you.
Sometimes, guys, you have to not listen to the mentor. Remember, rules are meant to be broken sometimes.
Most of the accounts that I ever like have done wrong are the accounts that I trade in news. there are lucky days that you will make, I don't know, a ton of money during news, but I don't know, 7 out of 10 times you won't do good. So my point of view is that I try to stay away from it until I'm, confident that the market is good enough for me to make money. I'm not rushing it to make money. I want to make money, period.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, guys, obviously, you've seen on the other calls, all the flyers, everything going on. We've had a lot of, new ranks, new exciting things going on in the organization from a business standpoint, right? At the end of the day, we trade, but we're here because of akashx, right?
That's right.
Repping the brand every single day, guys, going hard. We have literally exploded this company in the last 90 days, and we're just getting started. But I say this all the time. It didn't happen because of me, Brent, or Lewis individually. We all play a role in getting the brand to the next level, right? There was one person that joined the akashx and Joey Wilson that brought in so many great leaders that have just been putting in hella work. Shout out to Joel as well. Joel just smacked 25K, building his teams internationally, the Hispanic community and everything in akashx. I can literally just go market by market and just highlight people. But I want to highlight you guys, right? Like you're on these calls getting educated. You're already disciplined and doing the hardest part, which is showing up. But it's like putting yourself in the position to just get the information in front of as many people as possible. Like that's what's gonna give you guys the biggest boost. Because I'm telling you right now, the people that are gonna win the most money with these crypto plays and the people that are getting the biggest payouts on akashx with the prop firms and all that stuff are people that very confidently had $1,000 to buy a prop firm with, very confidently had 5-10 grand to put into crypto portfolios. Why? Every week, every month, residual income, the brand paying you back for the impact that you're creating in the community. So I know some people say they're not built for it. Some people say it's too hard for them. Like whatever limiting beliefs you put into one thing that you have in your life, you're going to put it into your trading at some point. I'm going to tell you right now. So I'm not saying you have to be a great, business builder to be a great trader or vice versa, because they're two completely different businesses, two completely different skill sets. I acknowledge that 100%. And I'll be the first to tell you I'm not the best recruiter compared to some of these other, heavy hitters in the platform for sure. But all I'm saying is that each one teach one. Like each one of you guys that gets one enrollment during this October promo, where we literally are giving away funded accounts left and right, like you just doubled up the size of this call. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not you having to change your life and just go crazy and put on your whole city. It's literally about everybody just doing a little bit. And I say this because you want the education team to continue to like have more resources, technology, things to make akashx better. It comes down to making more money. Period. End of story, right? The bigger akashx gets, the cooler things get. And we're seeing it already. We could not give challenges away a year ago. Josh would have shut down the company if he had to do that a year ago. He's calling it what it is, right? But we have the capital now to reinvest into the community because of the growth. So that's all I'm saying is like think that you guys are not a part of akashx. You are akashx. Like the minute that really clicks for you, man, it just opens up so many doors. So with that said, Dubai is right around the corner. We're like 3 weeks, no, not even 3 weeks, like less than 3 weeks. So I know not everybody can make it there. Like I've been trying to, we don't try, but like I've been meaning to go to Dubai for a very long time. I've had this thing for a long time. And all I'm gonna tell you is like if you really want something, you're gonna get there, whether it's a travel destination, a certain trading account size, but you have to have it in front of you at all. Like this has to be a focus. Like I've been seeing this for a very long time. And now the opportunity has presented itself. And I'm telling you, if you guys, one of you is going to Dubai that's on this call right now, congratulations. Like you're about to see akashx step into the next like level. And I know that's a cliche thing, but like we know what's gonna be unveiled in Dubai. So like it's already a done deal. It's just gonna be unleashed, right? And I'm bringing this up because if you don't go to Dubai, then get to Dallas or just really keep an eye out for the next events as well, heading into 2025, because like there's gonna be something in your area. There has to be. Like there's no excuse, guys. We gotta get in these rooms. We gotta continue to do our part to grow this community. So I just want to leave you guys off with that note. And I do wish you guys all an amazing start to your week. Um, Yeah, man, I'm ready to crush it. We don't have that many freaking red folder newses compared to these last 2 weeks, so it should be pretty cool. Oh, we see. Okay, Sam says he's booked. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's go.
go.
Let's go.
Us three will be there. So we're gonna have a Sunday market outlook picture together, us three, and send it to y'all or show it to
Oh
y'all
yeah.
on the next Sunday market after. But just excited for that, man. Appreciate you guys who are on the call. As always, we look to continue to be as consistent as possible with these Sunday market outlook calls. As Brent always does, he has his Mindset Mondays on Instagram. Tomorrow night, you guys make sure you catch Lewis's live sessions throughout the week, as well as mine and Brent's, whichever one of ours fits into your schedule. If not, you guys can always check out the recordings as well. Be out on the lookout for tactic trades, trade alerts, all that good stuff as well. And that's really it, guys. Appreciate y'all. I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. And we will see y'all next week. I'll be with Brent in person next week, so should be pretty lit. But appreciate y'all. You have a good night. Let's get it.